What's up, YouTube? Thank you for clicking on today's video. I want to give a brief, so I'm going to share a video that I already recorded last week when this incident was fresh, but I do have to give a few notes, okay? This was my first time using sequence, and I only did so to defend myself against what she was saying in the video about me. And by she, I mean Amanda Seales. If you clicked on the thumbnail, then you already kind of know what the video is about. It did speed up my voice when I sped up the pitch. Unfortunately, I listen fast, so I sped it up, but I talk slow, and I wasn't aware that it was going to make me sound like a chipmunk. But it actually kind of ended up being a little bit cute, so I'm not mad at it, but just know it wasn't intentional. And then since then, this is my first video. I'm only putting this video out here for the backstory to kind of explain that I'm really not beefing with Amanda Seales, but I also feel like Amanda needs to be held to the same standard that she holds everybody else to. Because for some reason, I think Amanda thinks that she's exempt from those standards. And unfortunately, she is not. And then also, I recognized after this happened to me and I left a comment and she used it to kind of blast me to her followers in a very rude way, because my comment wasn't even rude and it wasn't even disagreeing, but you'll see that this is something that she does all the time. When people leave comments, and she has 2.2 million followers. So I find it to be irresponsible. But I also think it's very much intentional, and it's somewhat bullying because I think she knows that. I think she knows. Now this comment is not really the point. This is a comment on Threads. I had the decency to blur the person's name out because I treat people the way I want to be treated. However, they're accusing her of being a grifter because she can't work in Hollywood anymore. But my main point was, or you also see the comment, the reason why I screenshot it was the comment is saying that this is something that she's done often. And I'm not the first person, but hopefully I'll be the last, and probably not, honestly. But regardless, the next video, I'm gonna have a few more things to say because this actually opened my eyes to kind of see Amanda in a different light. I do think, which is ironic, that I may have had her on a pedestal or thought that she was a little bit better than what she has obviously decided who she's going to be. But that's going to be in video number 2, honestly. And then since this has happened, yes, she has still been beating the dead horse of Kamala, but she's also said that Trump is a revolutionary, which is leading me to believe the grifter allegations may have something, there may be some truth to them, seeing as how when Trump got elected, she first got off of social media, allegedly in protest for not adding to the profit of all of the billionaires that own the various platforms. But since she's come back to social media, she's been aggressively rude and a little bit rage baity, and I do feel as though there is a little bit of truth to that, but that'll be in the second video. So yeah, without no further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Oh, I'm sorry. I do need to warn you to lower your volumes because, yes, she is yelling. In fact, she captioned the video, and no, I won't stop yelling. Okay, so go ahead right now and lower your volume because I'm telling you, your hearing will thank you, and you can't help but find that funny. I'm sorry. No, I won't stop yelling. It's crazy, but okay.
Y'all be knowing that you don't know nothing about history. And you will still come on this app every day and speak with your chest. And it is enraging. Like, it makes me furious.
Amanda. First off, let me start by saying I'm rooting for Amanda Seales. I actually like her. I think she's talented. I think she's educated. I think she's witty. All of the things, right? And that's the reason why I follow her still currently to this day, even though I often disagree with her. But as an independent thinker, I don't 100% agree with anybody all the time. So that's not a problem for me. However, yesterday, I commented on one of her 4 consecutive posts about Kamala Harris that were made yesterday, September 2025, not a year ago during the election cycle. These were made yesterday. So imagine my shock and chagrin when I get up this morning and see not only my comments, but my Instagram name and my face on the screen as Amanda yells at her camera to her 2.2 million Instagram followers. You couldn't blur my name out? You couldn't blur my picture out?
Comparing a politician, all caps, to activists is why this conversation seems to keep cycling over and over even after the election. I don't think anyone thinks Kamala is an activist, so expect radical activism is kind of a setup for disappointment. It's like expecting a warden to burn down the prison. Or insert any other system institution instead. The expectation at best can only be to treat the prisoners fairly. The deep irony of comparing a DA, a former DA, to a warden in a prison is I don't even have the time.
Okay, so in order to apply some context here, we do have to go back to the post that I commented this comment on and see if we said different things. Because actually, when you see my comment and then you see what Amanda said in the video, we actually said the same thing. So I'm not sure why she got so upset, but let's go comparison to comparison.
Well, Kamala Harris is black. It is very reasonable to say she was the only option I felt I could vote for. However, it is unreasonable to suggest that she is anything counter to the system that is holding liberation back. That system has been in place long before her. She has simply capitulated to it and is a part of its establishment. And she continues to perpetuate it. She does, many other black politicians, black executives, black celebrities, they all participate in this practice. So when you see...
Now maybe I'm tripping, but it sounds like we just said the exact same thing, right?
Enough of us want to admit that those people that we revere and that we pedestal would not revere and pedestal some of the individuals that some of you all revere and pedestal, because they understand that when it comes to aligning with certain ideologies, it is counterintuitive to any level of equality. So
the post that I commented on, she was saying how we should stop pedestalizing. She said pedestal, but she meant pedestalizing current social leaders or leaders. And I agreed with her. And even in my response, I didn't disagree with her. We said the same thing if you're listening, right? What I think she didn't like is that I said cycling this conversation over and over. I think that's what got her in a tizzy. And I really was trying to call my sister to stop creating this division by focusing on Kamala when we have bigger fish to fry. Okay, that was my point. But what she fails to realize is that you focusing on Kamala is pedestalizing her. You're putting her on a pedestal, okay? Because she is a politician. She is not an activist. And my point I'm making is we have to stop expecting people to play roles that they have not designed to play. Last week, she was criticizing Beyonce and Jay-Z as though they ever said they were social and political leaders. They never said that. They are capitalists. But what they do with their capitalism, I said do. No, what they use is their capitalism to promote and support people of color, black people. They are unapologetically black. They hire black. They help black. So they don't have to be radical like you, right?
black celebrities, they all participate in this practice. So when you see folks like myself calling attention to them, they are figures of prominence that have a platform that they could use to shift culture, to shift mindsets, to enable the people to shift their own futures. And instead, they use that platform to shift dollars towards themselves without doing anything to challenge the very system that has been in place before them and that they are now aligning themselves with. To cut to the chase, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King are not supporters of liberals. And anyone thinking they would be because those liberals are black, I think you'd find differently if you read their work.
And I say radical because by Amanda's own comments in that very same post, she does not participate in the electoral system, right? Mind you, this is the woman that is quoting Martin Luther, the King Jr. in her video, who fought for the Voting Rights Act of 1965, along with Jimmy Lee Johnson and John Lewis, who also was an activist that later on became a politician. Okay, understanding that a politician is signing up to be a part of a system, right? And that they have to uphold that system. The president cannot be anti-America if he's in head of the America. So expecting Kamala to be this radical, black, pro-black, woke, whatever, you're really missing the forest for the trees, my girl. And I want you to stop focusing on her so we can focus on the matters at hand.
And I encourage you all to go and watch the video. That's all I'm going to stitch other than this next part, because she proceeds to spew a bunch of historical facts about how black people in politics was initially activism and a bunch of unrelated things that had nothing to do with either one of our points. And then it gets a little bit nonsensical here. So I definitely have to put that part in there.
And y'all sit up here on this app every single day and you co-sign it. You co-sign COINTELPRO. You co-sign the murder of Fred Hampton, and you don't even realize it. And you say things like comparing a politician to activists when it's applying to a black person who is aligning herself and making her identity and her politics all about being black. And you think you're saying something, and all you're saying is that they defeated you.
Her response to my comment was that I must not know anything about history. Tell me in what part of history was MLK a politician? Was Malcolm X a politician? Was any of the people that you named, when were they politicians? They never ran for office. They never signed up to be a part of the system. They were trying to invoke change, okay? So understanding the difference helps keep you from beating up on black people like you do. Because I recognize that a lot of the heat you have is not for white supremacists. Your main criticisms are for other black people as a pro-black person. And I find that to be divisive. You mentioned Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was a unifier. The Rainbow Coalition was because he was able to pull people from all different races together and recognize that the problem was the system. Pardon me for yelling. I need to calm myself down because I said I wasn't going to scream at my camera. Okay, I said I wasn't going to do that. However, it's important to recognize that in a utopian society, things will go the way that you're saying. But we are not private citizens. I think at the end she says, all of these people are private citizens. Are you a private citizen? Because I'm not.
Okay, so I do have to jump in right quick to slap my own hand because my interpretation of private citizen, I was thinking more of a sovereign citizen, whereas she was referring to a private citizen as a non-elected official, just a regular taxpaying citizen. And I was thinking of those that don't think they're subject to the laws of the U.S. government because they identify as sovereign. So my bad. I do need to correct myself there. But yeah, that's it.
So that means that it matters to me who's in office, locally and at the national level, because that impacts our schools, our roads, our food, our healthcare, our education, almost everything. And as a person that is intelligent, I cannot believe that your intellect would lead you to endorse people not participating in their own civic livelihood. It makes no sense, especially when you consider how many died and fought for us to be able to vote. So decide what you're trying to say, baby. And this is why intellect and wisdom are not necessarily the same thing, because Amanda is very intelligent, and for anybody to say otherwise, they be a bold-faced lie. However, using your platform to create community is more impactful than alienating those that actually agree with you overall, but we might disagree on certain things, and that's okay too. However, in order to build community, you have to understand nuance. And what you're calling for, this radicalism, it doesn't really add up when instead of activating the people like Jasmine is, right? Who's trying to help pull us and our resources together, similar to Fred Hampton and the Rainbow Coalition. You're selling comedy show tickets. However, you're criticizing Kamala and Jay-Z and Beyonce for financially benefiting from what their work is when they never even said that they were activists. Because despite how you may feel about other people, consistently using your platform to criticize other black people is not the answer, my girl. It's not the answer. It's not solving anything. It's only creating more dissension and division. And in this particular climate, we should be focused on how we can come together so that we can they trying to send us back. They trying to send us back to that time you're talking about being a politician was activism. It was, but it's no longer that. And so we need politicians that actually care about American citizens. And by your own admission, it's because they're public figures, which gives a little clout chasing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not your intent. But understand that if it was that easy to do, why haven't you done it yet? If it was that easy for Kamala to do, then you do it, baby. But it clearly is harder to dismantle the systemic issues. And in order to do so, we do need people that do not believe that we have no rights. When we look at the current administration, why the heck? Well, I'm trying not to use profanity. Why would we be focused on Kamala? Why would you make 4 posts yesterday about Kamala when we have 300,000 black women at risk of losing their livelihoods? Can we have some of that energy for the white supremacists? Can we have some of that energy for the system as opposed to all the individual energy? Because I, too, battled with voting for Kamala before she took a stance on Palestine. I started to hate Biden. I understand, okay? I truly do. I don't disagree with you like you think I do while you're continuing to try to diminish my intellectual capacity because I want you to change the topic. Because that really was the bottom line. There's no need for us to continue to beat the dead horse of Kamala Harris. We need black DAs so that we can ensure that the law is being administered fairly. So to act as though a person, because they're a black DA, are automatically anti-black, what are you saying about blackness? I think one of the most egotistical things, and it's definitely egotistical, might be borderline narcissism, but I'm not qualified to diagnose like Amanda is. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be shady. I really am. Because I don't believe that you can inform a person and insult them at the same time. I don't believe that. However, here we are. It really bothers me when people act as though because you come to a different conclusion or have a difference of opinion than them, that you are somehow lacking intelligently or you are uneducated. And I feel as anybody that comes to the conclusion that if you disagree with me, you have to be dumb. It's hubris, it's condescension, might be narcissism. I can't call it. It's something, but it's not healthy, okay? So with that being said, let's stop doing that.
My final point is let's focus some of that energy on the issues, not the individuals, okay? Love you. Okay, so that was the video that I did post to Instagram, and I tagged Amanda in it. And I also went to her comment section to defend myself, basically saying I can't believe someone with such a huge platform doesn't know how to blur people's names out. And where I'm from, which is South Dallas, Texas, just so you know, anything with an address gets addressed. And she was tripping, basically. The commenters were misinformed and they were all dogpiling on me in the comments. But we said the same thing. So I had no problem letting her know that, ma'am, you're bugging, okay? And honestly, it's quite sad. Further comments was like, in her scenario, we're the inmates, and she typed this willingly with thought and intentions to make a point. So it's like, okay, you talk about me, right? So yes, I did, but the point that I made is not the point that Amanda twisted it to. So let me let you know my actual point. And unfortunately, I had the decency to get these people's names out. I'm not going to bash them though. And that's another thing. I only feel away because she misrepresented me in the video. I made my comment. I stand by my comment. My comment is not something I'm ashamed of. These people made their comments, and I'm not going to bash them for it. But I'm still going to have the decency I tried to blur everybody's name out, but it was a little harder. But my response was, yes, I did type it willingly, because the point was, let's stop cycling this Kamala topic over and over, right? Y'all already didn't heard the point because the election was over 10 months ago. The next topic, they are literally dismantling our rights, right? And then this commenter states, she, referring to me, could have just said that she doesn't want to hold politicians accountable. That would have been easier. She would never say that because she never said that. So, but again, misinformation. Now, I didn't really go back and forth with anybody hardly, but this one person was intent on getting on my nerves. Not the initial commenter, but the one under their comment. So they say, why would I want a politician to represent me without advocacy? Not being an activist for the people who voted for her while wielding the power that directly impacts people's daily lives is a problem, and we shouldn't accept it. Where was that stated? Like, whoever said that? Like, where did y'all get that from? How could y'all have gotten that from Amanda? But, I mean, honestly, people come to their own conclusions. But I asked her, where was that stated? You pulled that out of the stratosphere. Is treating people fairly not advocacy? Let me ask you this. Who in this current administration is advocating for you? But Kamala. Like, be so effing for real, right? And under this comment is where things got a little rude, because someone tagged me and decided to say, girl, take a break. And my first reaction was gonna be, who you talking to, baby? But I said, when she removes my name and likeness, I will. Her points could have been made without either of those included. If you would let it slide, that's you. Then here go the rudeness. I wouldn't have left such nonsense on someone's post in the first place, but that's me. So then I responded with a reel that basically showed Amanda saying the same exact thing that I just said that y'all have already seen, with the comment that says, was it nonsense, when Amanda said the exact same thing. And they didn't really address that anymore after that. I said, you, like Amanda, missed the point of my comment, and I'll take partial blame for not making myself clear. My point is, why are we continuing to criticize a duck for quacking or a dog for barking? Let's use our brilliance to build community and let this conversation die. Here we go. Kamala is not a duck, right? Never addressing the fact that me and Amanda said the same thing. She's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and we'll continue to scream it from the rooftops as long as she's running for office, selling books, and being an Apex sellout. Get on. Now, get on is highly rude, but I think it set me off just a little bit, because who are you telling to get on? So then my next comment was a little spicy. And I said, and that's fine. Like, that's not even the point. Kamala is not the point. I think that's what the point is, that Kamala is not the point. She is not the source or the solution to the problems. Okay? And well within her right, your right. But Amanda is a public figure with 2.2 million followers. This has hundreds of reshares and thousands of likes. So having my name on her screen while she hurls insults and twists my point is tacky, reckless, and borderline defamatory. She could have made her points valid or invalid without them. But I guess we're only holding Kamala accountable for, y'all see it. Now go and argue with your loved ones, ma'am or sir. I'm going to always defend me against whoever. Why you're continuing to comment when that's my only point is beyond me. But I'm going to return your advice to you. Take a break from straddling Amanda and pray that you don't one day make a comment she disagrees with and she blasts your name on her screen like a cyberbully. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here for Amanda to learn a lesson. But all of the comments weren't enabling idiots, right? Some of the people like me are tired of the conversation and think that it's a better use of time. And this is an example of it. So I'm going to read what she said, because I found her comment and Amanda's response very interesting. She says, sis, this is a distraction from your purposeful path. I understand it's overwhelming and exhausting. However, I hope you become so interrupted by focusing on your leadership that you have dedicated such time and resources to not to entertain nonsense. Don't allow distractions shift you. Your tribe see and hear you. Proud of you, Amanda. Now, she, like me, thought we were in the same tribe, but I don't think anybody's in Amanda's tribe for real, honestly. And the second video will explain it more. Like, we're going to have to unpack some things, because when you really think about it, Amanda's a child of privilege. Amanda lives in Calabasas up until last month. But Amanda doesn't do anything. As I was Googling to see her actual work, not just her commentary, because anybody can talk trash on the internet. That doesn't make you an activist, and that does not make you a change maker. Maybe a thought leader, possibly, but not necessarily. Honestly, if all you're doing is talking on the internet, you are no better than Kevin Samuels. So all the smoke you have for Kamala and all these other people that actually are doing some work, I Googled, I looked, I tried to find. I could not find no work that Amanda has done other than line her pockets with her commentary. And that's part of the reason why I feel like she came back to social media, because them bills and them taxes in California are not cheap. And she did sell her house for $3.4 million. But Amanda is not one of us. Amanda is also a child star who has probably never had a real friend. But that's going to be the topic of the next video. So I don't really want to get too far off the topic, but that's what opened my eyes. So let's stay on the path. Let's stay on the path, because it's easy to get off, okay? So she says what she said about your tribe, and she says, "Proud of you, Amanda." Now, the comment under that says, "Oh, these videos are learnable moments for the uninformed." Who's uninformed? Because that's another reason why I keep getting mad. Because y'all keep acting like her comment and my picture go anything together. And they don't. You know what I'm saying? And then says, "Honestly, the way she packaged this response was brilliant." Chad. I don't have nothing to say about that. I don't have nothing to say about that particular topic. But Amanda says to the commenter who just said, "Proud of you," and "oh, this, that, and the third," all of those congratulatory things. This girl asks the girl and says, "Imagine having the ego to think you know my purposeful path more than I do." The girl just, "Oh, Amanda, I love you so much." She say, "Imagine having the ego." You projecting. But okay. And then the girl comes back and she's really sweet and she says, "And I'm still team Amanda." Know your feelings are hurt. And it's okay to say, "Girl, don't talk to me like that." Like, because that was rude and out of pocket. And that's not how you talk to people. And you say you're trying to help people. Like, I don't understand. So here my empathetic ass go talking about, your comment was worth a try. I think we have the same sentiments, but unfortunately, Amanda is committed to yelling into her echo chamber and alienating her supporters by consistently making Kamala her focal point. But hey, at least she didn't put your name and face on the screen of her next video to accuse you of co-signing COINTELPRO, which has nothing to do with nothing. And that's all we're going to talk about today. Like, we're going to leave it there. But I have a lot more to say, because I did send Amanda a private message, but she doesn't allow people to message her. Just asking, you can see the message, "Please remove my name and photo from your post 2 days ago. I'm not your enemy, and it's okay to disagree with the comment I left, but your platform has far too great a reach, and reels are permanent." That reel I just went and looked today from 4 days ago. It's still there. And it'll be there. And I don't know why it makes me feel away so much. I don't know if it's because I once respected her voice. And I ain't saying I completely disrespect her voice, but we almost there. But people who I do respect follow Amanda. Like Jasmine Crockett is my public representative. She is my congresswoman. She follows Amanda Seales. Baby, you gotta take my name down. Because I don't want my congresswoman thinking that what you saying about me is anywhere near the truth, right? Okay, so hold them up. Because as I looked yesterday and Jasmine Crockett was following Amanda Seales. But Amanda Seales has been very I'm pretty sure she stopped following her after the revolutionary comment. But she was following her as of yesterday. And Jasmine Crockett had 2.4 million followers yesterday. Now she has 2.2, but that's not surprising either because people are fickle. However, when I went back to get the receipts today in order to put them in the video, I should have took a screenshot. She is no longer following. Jasmine is no longer following Amanda Seales. So I'm not the only person that she's rubbed the wrong way. And it's unfortunate that she has decided this is her purposeful path, like she told her other supporter. And Lord, but I do see my girl Benet, and I always mess up her name. I do see my girl Lene is still following her. And I love her. Most of the people I follow are smart, witty women with great takes. So like Booker Squared, I follow her. And when I went and looked, she wasn't following Amanda. And low key, I think they secretly got smoke. But at the end of the day, That ain't what she said, and I ain't putting words in her mouth. But I wouldn't be surprised because she's a real one. And yeah. Anyways, I thought that was interesting, so I had to jump in there, first of all, because I ain't trying to lie on my representative. She no longer follows Amanda Seales. But I swear, and I ain't going to swear for God, but I swear on Amanda Seales that yesterday, she was following her. Yesterday. All right, that's interesting. The plot thickens. Back to the video. Regardless, the things you said in the video couldn't be further from the truth or my point. However, this is your platform and you have the right to your opinions. Please just blur my name and likeness. Thank you. I have not gotten a response. The video is still up. And so at this point, it's still up. And so I'm another smart black girl. Amanda ain't the only smart black girl. If we're going to have to dissect some things to see if is she really worth a lot of the credit that we give her. Because as I already stated, just making valid points and just talking to a computer does not an activist make. Are you even an activist? Because when you're talking about Kamala Barack, you're talking about Jay-Z, Beyonce, you're talking about all these people. And when you Google them, you can see their work. You can see how they're helping other people other than themselves. I didn't see none of that. I didn't see it. And please drop down in the comments and let me know. If you know something I don't know, I would love to be corrected. I actually like it. It helps me grow. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up right there. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. And I'm not trying to bash Amanda Seales, but I also do not believe anybody is exempt from the smoke that they give. And if you can dish it out, then you should be able to live up to that same scrutiny. All right.